who Anna.
Okay, so this.
That's an old.
Yeah. So that would be just. Did you really reach the bottom yet?
No. Now here's that John Bruce. He was 4 months old.
And this.
That's the son of Clara.
Your aunt.
Yeah, of my Aunt Clara. Now that family, they, see, she got divorced from her husband.
Oh yeah.
And so she raised the kids.
Oh, here's a farming picture.
Yeah, that's a, whatever.
Manson. No identification, just no picture.
No picture.
And the longer you wait to try to find somebody that knows who's on there, the less people are left.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Where did we see one like that before, a flashing picture?
Oh, I've seen flashing pictures. Okay.
Now that there to me looks like a stump. That would have been related on the Hebners,
Oh, yeah.
that one.
Okay, so I don't know how we're going to do this, but, let's see,
Now this one says 16 years old, but see, there's no, that was at Manson.
It would be fun to have the names.
But,
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't make a family album.
What do you think, this is an Ottman Taylor tractor?
You know more about those tractors than I would.
Looks like it's by the
Probably.
guy.
now the McCarville, do you know anything about the name of McCarville?
Mm-mm, not at all.
Well, he was that's all a lot of him, whoever he was, because,
But like that, it's not your father.
don't have any idea.
You don't have any pictures of your father when he was younger that Mark.
Just,
Because Delores, I had a picture of the Hebners, 3 Hebner children, and it said, I could tell my grandma's writing. She wrote on there, the Hebner kid. And there was about that age he was. And he had his hair, because I know his hair parted so nice. And when and I've lost it. I've got oodles of pictures and that one I can't find.
See, when Charlie died and Grandma Hebner died, why, then when they went through these things, why, the rest of the kids didn't want no pictures.
Well, yeah,
And
it's just,
this is my dad when he was 46 years old.
There's no pictures from the bedroom.
That's my dad.
oh yeah. Oh, he was a nice. That's why the hair was parted. His hair was parted on this picture that I was saying that I had, but I'd lost it. And I think that I left it down in Arkansas when we stopped to visit Gladys. Did that ring a bell, Gladys? See, she was William's youngest daughter, Gaminder.
I can't even remember how many kids they had.
I think 7, and there are 2 left.
See, Uncle Bill used to run the thresher machine when I
Yes.
was small.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is what your brother Harold told me.
And that's
And when he wrote back.
what I remember him. And then
They had lived in Canada. William Gaminders, and they had moved back to Minnesota.
Maybe that's where that threshing machine picture is of. Maybe Gladys had one that we saw like that.
had to do with
Could
the
be.
Bill Gaminder. And then, see, the other Gaminder, the one, Albert.
Pictures taken.
Him and my
by
grandmother,
Lord
and it
Test.
didn't
Yeah.
get along well because there was some
With a magnifying
financial
glass.
fight
Oh,
there.
uh,
They
I
lived
see.
in Fort Dodge for a long, after they left the
Uh-huh.
farm.
uh-huh.
And so,
I can realize that. Now, Gladys, why don't you sit down, or you got...
well, these pictures I don't want mixed in.
Oh,
this box.
okay,
That's just
okay,
it.
wait.
Here's a picture of my grandmother's house in Rock City.
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
And then here would be, I think, it's kind of a family picture of Grandma. Now, I don't, because Grandma's
I'm looking for-
in here, I think.
Oh, okay. I was looking for my grandmother, but she's not there.
See, this is mine. Maybe it was a neighborhood club.
Oh,
I don't know. You know.
they're all the same age, are the ladies.
And there's a farm picture of Ruth. the grandpa and Emma, and,
Oh, this was their farm.
yeah.
Is there anyone on that farm now?
Oh, no, see, grandpa lost all them farms
Oh, he did.
during the Depression. All he had left was a house
ain't a
in
very-
town.
I see.
It's just a
That's
little,
That's
You know,
different, yeah.
huh?
When I
When
was
we,
little, we lived in that house.
Yeah.
did you really?
It didn't,
When we came
Somebody
down
give it to
here,
us.
driving down here, we saw some of these huge houses like that, Genevieve.
Yeah.
We were wondering, how many bedrooms do they have in the upstairs?
See, this
Oh.
one here had a,
Oh, there must be
At
more than
least
4 in that
some,
one.
some look like they probably have 6.
it had a
Those
big
long
open
houses.
stairway in and
Oh.
huge, like a
Huge hallway.
Big hallway.
hallway or piano room.
you
Yeah.
Well,
want to
my
see some pictures
grandma's
closer.
house in
I
town
think he's
was
got
made
one.
like that.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, this is a magnifying. Oh, well,
your magnifying glass?
no, I didn't.
Now here's a picture of my dad with his folks.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
he carried that with him everywhere.
That's about the youngest picture, you know, when it comes in like this.
Oh.
And here's my dad in his later years. He wasn't. And then this is Sophie and Claire.
Oh.
Have you got that picture?
Uh-uh. Sophie and,
That's, were daughters of Emma.
oh. Okay, these are your 2 aunts. I see.
And
Okay.
then this was my dad with his dad.
Okay, that's your dad's.
That's Charles.
Okay.
His
Okay,
dad.
those are real good pictures.
See, Grandpa
So-
died the
So
year I
you're
was
not going to
born.
be able to show me this picture of the 3 that says the 3 Hebrew kids.
Huh?
Oh, so that must, it's gotta be, we had our pictures out there on the table like this, and I'm sure that it got mixed up there.
Now, do you have any idea what this is? I don't.
No, not really. I'm sure you.
And here's another family picture.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So this,
This is Emma and Grandpa Liebner, and this is Clara and
your
Charles
father, your
and
father.
Sophie.
Uh-huh.
See, Sophie fell on the stove when she was young, and she had burned. That's like this one eye.
Oh, this
She
looks
was
higher than the other, huh?
mhm. She was scarred from that.
Mm-hmm. Now, these they don't really look, they're real tall.
No.
Our family is short, like my sister's short. I'm one of the taller ones.
Yeah. No,
Because-
my family wasn't tall.
Yeah, so they look rather short, don't they? But they always say, okay.
Now this, I think this is Jacob and Mary Geminder.
I'm sure.
Grandparents of my dad.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Now
so
that's
where should I put this so we don't?
well, that's just,
Is that a painting or a blown up picture?
I think it's like a charcoal or.
Do you? It's not just blown out.
Grandma had
Yeah, it looks like
those
it.
paintings. She had a big oval frames on them. And when she died, they didn't want to bother with them frames, so they took the pictures all out. And
You know, sometimes they would blow, I don't know if they ever blew up pictures back then.
Just to prove that that is it.
It does
This
look like
is
a
what Gladys
drawing.
gave me. This is, here's Grandpa, there's Grandma. And this is Albert, this is William, this is Minnie. These are 2-haired men.
now this was before Emma come in the picture in that, huh?
No, yeah, well, she was married and left home.
Oh.
But this, you know, I was looking for a family picture.
Do you have a picture of your of those Geminders like
Well,
that?
like right here I have.
Yeah.
So
Now, where would
you
they-
will see those are the same people.
Where would they
Well,
have
if you're gonna
lived?
do a snapshot, you could put this picture in it. It might show
Okay,
up.
I better.
The big picture.
Oh,
If you're gonna do one, well, why don't we hold this one up
yeah,
and
okay.
see how that turns out, and then.
I can see that picture.
Yeah, I think, you know, on a wall you'll see one like that size, so.
Now this is I off the picture this is what it says
I
on the
could
back
give
of
them
that
that.
picture that I
Nobody
took.
does.
Yeah,
This
get one of
picture
those
right
two together. You know, my camera doesn't work inside. I would have to work outside, and
Oh,
so
I got,
It
You
must
can
be
get
where
one
they-
of those two
after they
together.
came back
I
from
got-
Switzerland.
I got
That could have been,
6,
'cause
7
Grandma,
left.
I can remember Minnie was a traveler.
Well, do you have this? This is Grandma Geminder's story, printed in 1936.
Oh, no, where'd you get this out?
This is how I got contact with you.
You got this from, Rockville City?
Yes.
Oh.
See, here's what
It's quite something to have.
well, this is yours to keep. I made that for you to
Oh,
keep.
thank you.
But if you look at here, this is Grandma's obituary in the paper, and it says next week they're going to have Grandma Geminder's life story as told to the Advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote there to the paper to see if they would have that, and then they sent that to me. The lady, I have the copy of the lady.
She was born in Berlin.
And so this lady from the Rockwell City said, "You must be related to Harold Hebner. Your brother. Is your brother married?"
Yeah.
He wrote back to me and
Yeah,
said he didn't have any pictures, he didn't know nothing. Then he gave me your name.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
called
it.
me.
Oh, then I wrote you. I can't hear anything. I'll write
You
over.
got a hold of a pest you can't get rid of here.
So,
Let me read this
Delores,
here.
okay, this is yours to keep. I made a copy.
Oh.
Now this is Hildred Bannock. Now she was the historian in the family, and Hildred was William's daughter, the oldest daughter, and she just died last year. And she was a friend of my mother, Marguerite, so they were first cousins with your
You know
father.
where
They
that
were
music's
first
come
cousins.
from, don't you?
But she was a historian.
Well, isn't
and
it?
she
You
wrote
pick
this
up
on
the
the
line
back of
from
the
here?
picture. And,
Oh, yeah,
and,
real good.
So I made a copy of the
Oh,
picture,
yeah.
and I made a...
Yeah.
You listen to it every day.
So this
Yeah,
is your
we listen
picture
a lot,
also.
too.
Delores.
Oh, well, thank
And
you.
so-
Here, let's put this in here.
It'll be in the
So
background.
I didn't
Back
fasten
to
it
it.
in the back there. And I also I have two
You want
more
me to put
pictures
that on?
for you that I'm going to give you. And this is up
Yeah,
in,
maybe
in
we
our home,
could.
in our garage.
Maybe we could.
And this is last summer. This is Gladys Geminder Rosenquist, your father's first cousin, the youngest grandchild of Grandma Geminder, Grandma Mary Geminder. That's her, and I'm not real sure of her age. And so this is me, and this is her husband. And I identified him on the back. And then this.
Oh, yeah, this is that picture.
No, you
Oh,
haven't seen- you
no,
haven't seen
no, I
that one.
haven't seen this one. This
No. Now, how many can you
Okay,
identify?
there's Grandma Geminder.
Well, that's the easy
And this
one.
is Minnie, because she always held her head like that, right?
Yep. Well, I never met her.
You never met her.
Never met
She
her.
was a short, very stocky,
I-
full-breasted woman.
Uh-huh. She married Spies. She married Spies, and then later.
I can remember when we used to visit her house on the farm, but I couldn't drive you to it now, because,
Uh-huh.
I
Okay, how are we coming here now? Identify.
But that about takes care of them.
Well,
Is
Right.
this Uncle Bill then?
that's Uncle Bill. Now, I never met any of those people, and this is Dorothy Dixon. Well, she's a Dilma. So, and this right here is Agnes. This is the mother, and this is the daughter.
Oh, they
This
sure
is my
looked
grandmother.
alike, didn't they?
They sure do.
Okay, now this Dilmuth now,
She's living yet.
I mean, how is she to you now?
She's an aunt. She's
An
an
aunt.
aunt. My mother's sister. There were 4 children, and my mother had one sister, and that's her. And so your great Uncle Bill, and great Aunt Minnie, and your great Aunt Agnes. So there are 3 of her children right there, and then this is a daughter to this. So this is my first cousin, and this is my sister. This is taken in 1935. Okay.
Well, your sister is, see, she was, you said she's born in 31?
31.
I was born March 30. Yeah.
And this thing here really belongs in the back of the picture, but I never fastened it. I just took a photocopy of that. Okay, so there.
Turn my potatoes on.
Okay, you can identify this one, can't you, Jerry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I put my stamp on it. Have we went through these yet?
No, we just what we put in here.
Getting warm and nervous.
We get warm and nervous, huh? We've seen this.
I don't have any idea.
Well, you got the story on that from
This is from Switzerland.
from Cherokee, or from when we went to visit Gladys.
Yeah.
She told you about them, didn't she?
And I have some of the addresses.
She's a Geminder from Switzerland,
Mm-hmm.
and they must have mailed that.
That's
she died.
family that died over
in Switzerland.
over there, but you don't know who they.
Well, I think
Oh,
there's Gladys.
yeah,
like
like
I was saying,
sister
this
to
lady
the-
that just died last year, that family were in contact with the people in Switzerland.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Now, when I went through Gladys's, I didn't go through them. She showed them to me. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, and there, it showed that right after the turn of the century, like 1902 or 3 or something like that, there they got an inheritance from Switzerland. And then along in like during the war, they got an inheritance. You know, like 2,000 or 4,000, just old papers that were there. Can you remember your grandmother getting inheritances?
Mm-mm.
You never talked about it. In 1932 or 33, then they got an inheritance. I remember my grandma got an inheritance of $2,000. You know, we talked about that, but you can't remember that. Well, how about when Aunt Minnie died?
Yeah, Grandma would have got money from her.
But you don't remember that. Because my grandparents were on relief at that time. And so they got this inheritance in 1947. Isn't that when Minnie died? About that. And so then she got like $16,000, I think. And so then they had their choice to either give the money back to the county or go on and live on the money, and they went off of relief.
Well, that could have. See, my grandma was on. What they call that relief she was on.
Clinton County.
Living on
And then I can remember that she did get off of it, but of course there was never any how much money she got. I would never known that.
Well, I was just, we were kind of, you know,
See, Grandpa went and Grandpa Hebner, from the best that I can understand, that before the Depression he bought. Well, there's 1, 2, 3. He had about 5 farms, and he put up these big houses, like Grandma. And I don't know, but what he maybe didn't build that house in town that it was so. And he was well-to-do. And then the Depression come, and he lost everything. And they give Dad the house in town. Dad had title to that house, so Grandma would have a place to live. And then she got this pension, old age pension or whatever you would have called it, you know, till like I suppose when Minnie died, that she was.
She got that. Till Minnie died, and then she had to either go off, you know, because
and I remember
they
them
couldn't have that
talking.
much money in the bank.
I remember them talking that they paid that off to the state or whatever that was.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad even lost a farm.
During the Depression.
Uh-huh. And, yeah. So.
Me and Charlie, we had good times together.
Now this you should. She was sister
Yeah,
of Emma. You should have.
No.
Margaret.
She was a daughter of Agnes.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
or you could put my mother. She was my mother. Now I don't have any idea who any of these people are.
Well, see that's. And when they come from
And
Manson,
they took so many pictures in these
Oh,
old.
and they're all good ones.
They really
know,
are.
They're well.
I think they did a better job. No.
Here's Gilmore City. Do you know any?
I'm just looking for some that I might have the same ones. And, here, that doesn't help you when it's friend Lucy and friend.
myself and my sisters on my wedding day, the 10th of June, you know. And guess which one I am?
I looked at all
You know,
those,
it's
Delores,
just,
so.
I think this here.
So Genevieve has found one of my mother in there.
I think we went.
So our grandmothers did keep
Oh, that's
a little
Yeah,
contact.
yeah.
contact.
We drove
I'm
around.
sure, you know,
Oh.
I have people that, know.
Would you think Harold would know a lot of these fishes?
No,
No?
that's why you give them to me.
I didn't look at that one. What does that say, anything?
Well, Jerry, how
Down
about,
by the sump at Two Lake.
how about that lady that we met? What was her name? Esther?
Esther
Nutter.
Yeah, well, she's old, but not that old.
That she wouldn't recognize people.
She used to drive a gas.
Oh, did she
Truck
drive a
when I
gas
was
truck for
little.
her husband?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Aunt
too.
Emma
And she knew everybody's business. in
and
the
Uncle
valley.
Frank.
Yeah, that's what I
and
said.
Barbara.
She probably would. She'd know the younger ones. The one, maybe the ones that were.
No, I don't know.
Barbara
who I am.
and Bill
She might
for 6
recognize.
months. So
I don't-
these are really not our common relatives, are they?
No, I don't know one.
This must be a generation picture.
Now, I think this here looks like,
Just women.
Look at.
So that's a generation picture.
we come up
Look
with,
at.
this is a Hebner.
Well, look at here.
Well, that's the same house, isn't it?
Why, sure.
Only the trees grew up.
Or else they were cut down.
Yeah.
No, we're from the same family. We got the same pictures, aren't we?
Well, let's see what we come up with to think. We thought this was Francis and Augusta Hebner. With see, we were mixed up here.
Well, not. I don't rec. That could be.
And we figured that, and then we thought it was Clara, with her first husband, Clara Hebner, that married a Strite. So I don't know.
Well, they could have went there and had their picture taken in front of the house. The house really doesn't. I don't know. They took the bell down.
Yeah.
Now, is this? This one was taken after this one, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Because this, what we thought was Clara.
That chimney is too far on the roof for this.
No,
Yeah.
maybe.
See, there
Yeah.
are two chimneys there.
No, it's a different house.
It's a different house, huh?
Yeah, and they ain't got no shutters on the house.
You may be right. Yeah, you're right, because here it's the door there and 2 windows. Yeah, you're right. I thought sure that when I looked at that house, it looked the same, like things had changed. But you're right. That's a different house. Yeah, it was a false alarm. That's a false alarm, wasn't it? Get some cooler heads here. I don't know. I'm gonna.
Well, they sure had a lot of weeds around there.
There was, just like it was an abandoned farm, and they
They just come to take the picture.
Well, they didn't have any goats to eat it down.
Goats. Who wouldn't want one of them?
Do you remember when you were young how you kept your lawn mowed?
Sure. Well, I had
The
to push that
horses.
Yeah, and if you didn't do it when we were young, if you didn't get out there and do it, why sometimes the grass went to seed
Well,
and that's
then
where
Dad
it
says
stayed.
you go ahead and take the corn knife with a hoe and you chop the big weeds out, and then you run the lawnmower.
No, these are tin types.
Shut the gate and put the horses in the
The
yard.
people that took them, they enjoyed them while they were
Yeah,
here. But
you just, and, you know. Now, this isn't from Illinois.
I had to cut one night in the dark because I didn't get it done during the day.
okay,
Oh, you had fussy parents to keep that lawn
That,
down.
you know,
huh?
You bet.
See, now,
When you
Emma
yeah.
would have been born in Illinois,
And
so.
so was my sister.
Yeah.
Well, my sister, my grandmother.
Yeah.
Had to get calms
And
in because we.
and
Well,
there were
we
monks.
went to
She was a
one.
monk. Our grandma.
I remember this real
was a
well.
monk,
My
and
sister
they
Mary
came,
monk.
came from Illinois.
And we picked
And
all the white
these
ones
could
out,
be,
and we only got one bushel basket
you
of
know.
white cobs. And
relatives from
we
Illinois.
had to get 3 more baskets
But
full of palms
like
for
I
us
said,
for
you
the
know, there's
next
no
day.
names, and it just,
So we had to do that in the dark.
I'm going to leave this picture to the side, and when we go through
My
mine,
sister cried.
I think we looked at this one, didn't we?
yeah, I don't know who that is either, don't have any idea. Now, we thought that was some of the Burdette kids, that would have been Sophie, my dad's sister's kids.
Do you know any of your great aunts, Sophie's?
Of her kids?
No, your great aunt, not your aunt, but Emma's sister was Sophie.
Sophie Teach, was that?
Sophie Teach.
No, now the name I know,
Oh,
but I don't know any of them.
You don't know any of them.
Grandma used to hear from Sophie, I know. See, there's another Manson picture.
Now this picture I have.
You've got that one.
Yep. But it's unmarked.
So you don't know who that is
No.
either. And
So
there's
this apparently is the same man here, do you think? I would guess. He's younger.
Yeah.
Younger. Well, we'll put him, and we'll...
See, now that's Rolfe, Iowa.
Oh.
Do you still farm?
Now, see this picture
Crop-
looks like it was
just
taken
crop
at my
farm.
grandparents'
Oh, you did
Emma's
crop farm.
The big
farm,
house. The big
that
house.
big house out on the
Uh-huh.
farm.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there, but you know. And I don't know whose old house this is.
Boy.
These are old pictures, but
I'll tell you, I've never seen this picture before. But I make a guess. You think you know anyone there? There's an awful family resemblance.
you know that's no.
But there's no use me looking on the back of these, is there?
You think that's your mother and,
Grandpa and Grandma?
I wonder. You don't have a picture, well, you have that picture of her when she was having her first communion when she was little.
Boy, they took lots of
Yeah,
pictures.
he
of those
looks
things. Why
like-
didn't they write on there, huh?
He looks like John, doesn't he?
You know, well, we come to the same thing. We got pictures just taken in the latter years.
You mean of your
the
own?
last 40 years, just me and Delores and my family and her family.
Do you know
And
what that
she
is?
puts pictures
Can you
away
read?
and never writes on them. And so I said to her one day, I said, why don't you get busy and write some of them names on them pictures?
Now every time we get a picture, we write on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for yours, I hope.
Well, like these that are from Rockwell City now, this is the same girl.
Oh, now we know who this is. Oh yeah, you've got that written on there because that's the one I know too.
That's the one that married Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Minnie and her husband.
yeah.
They never had children,
No.
and
no
then
children.
then they divorced, and then she taught school, and then she's the one that had diabetes. And so that's how the diabetes comes from the Gaminder side, because I have a first cousin who has diabetes. And we always wondered where it came from. And then when I talked with Gladys, well, then she's the one that told us that.
Yeah, my dad had it
Which is
years later.
Who was that?
The one you just, Minnie, isn't that Minnie? There's
I don't think so.
Don't you? There's one of her here too.
Kind of holds her head out. That's taken over in Amsterdam.
Oh,
That's when she was,
taken an Amsterdam.
uh-huh,
When she traveled to,
uh-huh. When she went over.
she went more than once.
Well, I don't know.
But I don't think that, you think that's Minnie holding her head there like that? Might be.
Well, I don't know. She would have been
But
quite a bit younger.
Gladys says that's why she got to be so heavy, is because she was diabetic and they didn't know it.
Oh,
And they were
yeah.
treating her, and they were in the state hospital, and then they discovered that she had diabetes, and they cleared that up.
Yeah. No, I think that's,
Oh, it says
oh,
on
no, it ain't really, no, that's, we don't know either. They had a big family here. 7 kids.
Oh, now here I have this picture also.
You got that picture too.
Uh-huh.
But you don't know who it is either.
No, I don't.
Isn't this is all women, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like sisters, all sisters.
I would look at that and I'd try to say, you know, but I can't see it. It doesn't look like anyone, so we'll when we come to mine.
See, this is the same. This right.
Those
these
two
are the
look
same.
they look the same, don't
Does
they?
that come from Switzerland?
Oh. Well, that one you put in the box.
Well, that's probably some Geminders from
Yeah,
Switzerland.
Yeah.
probably is.
Yeah.
But you know, we
You
just.
don't know.
Now, this, if you recall, I said the historian of the family was Hildred Bannock, and she had no children.
She had no kids.
No, and Gladys is like the only surviving one, and so all that stuff. She says, Gladys says, what am I going to do with it? You know, boxes of stuff like this that she did. And she says that Hildred always wanted to keep those things. And
Yeah, but she's got a lot wrote on hers.
no.
No, no.
No,
Oh Lord.
no. She has quite a bit of writing, but
See, now this is Marshall, Minnesota, so I just figure that is maybe Clara's kids when they were little. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Where did this Grandma Monk grow up? I mean, who grew up? Who lived in Manson? Looks like a really old picture. That wouldn't be that.
No, that would
That would be her. Probably one of her daughters, huh?
These are your
That's Sophie's.
children,
Yeah.
your aunts.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they were sure proud of them horse and buggies, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had it made, you know, and they could throw the
Oh,
line.
there's an old
The
house.
line around the stick and tell the horse to go ahead and he'd know the way home,
Yeah,
and they had Mama all themselves in there.
that's right.
Oh,
Well, good times.
I tell you, my mother we went out that way.
For as
And
crude
I
as
can hear
cameras
about
were,
that.
boy, them
Oh,
pictures
she'd
really
get so
took
mad.
this thing.
They're gonna just look in there. You can just look into their eyes.
Mm-hmm. And they stay that way. They
After
don't.
all, that horse cost a lot of
you
money
know.
for them.
Yes, it did.
Oh, I'd make a guess about this one, but I.
See, here's another family group. I wouldn't have any idea who this is either.
Well, this is the one that we were thinking is my grandmother Agnes, my grandpa John, my uncle John, my mother Marguerite. I mean, they just look so much like them.
Could easily be.
And then this could be a boy. It'd have to be a boy. Oh, I know that's my Uncle John. Parted his hair in the middle when he was little, and it's the way he looked. This looks like my grandma. And this looks so much like my mother. But you don't want to let that be a boy, do you? That looks too much like a girl.
The front one?
In the middle there. I guess I had
Well, I don't know. They wore dresses.
the
yeah.
boys. You know, that could be Uncle Paul. See, I've got one last resort now. Well, more than one resort. I'm going to send these pictures out, some of my pictures out to my Aunt Dorothy in California. And she always would say, it was your mother that knew everyone. This is my mother's sister. She said, but you send them out. She said, now let's see if I can identify them. That's the Hebrew and daughter.
Now she looks like used to be a Lucy Stump. This one here.
Well, it's identified in the back.
Uh-huh.
Well, these I guess we can put back. I don't know what Genevieve's separating out here for me. Some that I should recognize.
No, I'm just sorting them by the time periods a little bit.
They just
See, these are all the same kind of pictures.
I think they had a hold still. I just don't recognize anyone.
Just-
Now here's one I have, but no name on it.
Well, you think this would have been your
Could have been my,
your grandmother when she was young?
could be.
The ones that taken in Manson. Oh, Rockwell City.
Now here's your aunt's wedding picture.
Yeah, she married a Strite, wasn't it? Yeah,
So, you know, like if a person would take time and see what she looks like and what he looks like, you could work
Yeah.
from there. Okay, I guess that those are... My gosh, are you passing these around again?
No.
Boy,
That's some family, but
he retarded had something when he had that mustache, didn't he?
Yes.
where was that one taken?
Manson.
Manson. See, there's so many Manson
Now
pictures.
here, I have this picture.
You got that picture too.
Uh-huh.
Or don't you think maybe a lot of those that would have been maybe your mother when she was young?
My grandmother.
Or your your grandmother?
have
No,
that one
yeah,
too.
yeah. No, I just hope this one is marked.
No.
I have that one.
You got that one too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
why
maybe
don't,
maybe that's those Gaminders when they were married.
which Gaminders?
Your grandparents.
My grandparents? You
Great,
mean that you
great.
think that, oh no. No. They were,
1893.
see, they were married
Before
married
that.
in
So that's too new.
the, they were married in the 1860s, our great grandparents, because my grandma always said, she says, I saw the Chicago fire. And she said, I'm just teasing you. She said, I was 3 days old when the Chicago fire was, and they were living, and she said her mother took her out by the hill and they watched Chicago burn. And she was three days old. So that corresponds out with, and that won't work out with the story, that Grandma Gaminder's story, because she's got it, that they moved in 1870 to Iowa, in Grandma Gaminder's story.
Well, we saw 3 little kids that looks like the same kids. Another picture of 3 little kids of different age.
Aren't those nice looking kids? My.
Yeah.
They sure
This
are.
one, is that your mother?
Boy.
Or do they all look alike as babies, don't they?
Well, I don't know if I have one like that or not.
Hey,
The boy that looks like her
You got a
eyes.
fancy
Delores,
dress?
this must be about
She had such
1930.
a dark eyes. Your mom did.
Hey,
Beans of the bloomer pants?
yeah, this must be
And your mother was the
taken in about
oldest. And I
1930.
always wonder if they would.
No, we never, like this would be a baptismal dress, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had
Boy,
that.
that looks like when you were little.
Why you come in here, girl?
Looks like your mother.
Well,
Her
yeah,
eyes.
They have hook shoes on.
See, that
Yeah.
one she sent to Emma, wherever.
She sent it to her, didn't she? Somebody did.
Oh, here's those 3 kids again. Did we look at that one already?
Now here's one I have in my collection. No name on
Well,
there.
how does that figure in with the way this, see? In there. Now that you really, as you grow up, it could be all the same. Her eyes. This one and her eyes are just,
Mm-hmm.
that could be your mother or your grandmother.
Agnes?
You know?
Could be. Oh. Fred.
Here's your uncle.
Yeah,
There you
no.
guys, hair part
So-
in the center.
So, these two I don't know, but so we had a picture back here
that we thought was your mother. So you could put in the box that one of her. Or
Oh no, we put that on there, didn't we?
yeah, I think you looked at
See,
some of these
we're
already.
claiming that this
Yeah.
is the same one as this one right here.
Yeah, it could be easy.
And this is my grandmother,
Yeah, these are the ones you were marking.
grandmother
already.
Agnes. They don't, now, you can certainly see a resemblance there,
Yeah,
can't
you sure can.
you? Like I said, he parted his hair in the middle.
They're right there on the picture of the one.
They have, and didn't you write that?
Yeah,
No, this one,
Yeah.
this,
That's the other one. That is.
yeah, okay. When you have, you know, a little picture of Clara Hebner here, and it says 9 years, 17 days.
Oh,
if
here's
you-
another one of Clara.
Yeah, you know, if you get those all together, you really wanted to, this long winter nights, study it out, you could find where she looks like someone else in the same picture, if the person ever wanted to do that. Your Aunt Clara.
Yeah,
Are we going to mark this one for you?
yeah, you better write
Here's
on
your
it.
pen.
No, you do
That's,
that, Genevieve. I'm so busy.
You think that that's, what's their names now? Agnes and John Dilma?
I'm sure it is. You can sign my name, or I'll sign my name to attest to it. Then if they find
that's
out that it was
marked
somebody
already.
else, well, then they say, that guy, he didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
This is Mary Gamin, oh, I wrote that. Almost looks like my picture.
Well, you probably have one like it.
Yeah, no, it's my writing on there.
Yeah, I
so-
think you just, these are the ones you just wrote on when we
Yeah,
first came.
okay. This is Mary Gaminder. I have that.
Pictures and more pictures.
Well, I guess it's kind of a fun occupation.
Just think the doctor was pictures that was taken.
Oh, but that's nothing compared to what we're taking nowadays.
No.
With these kind of cameras, everyone has a camera and
Yeah.
they're just snapping.
Now, I don't know who would have been living on a farm where they would have, you know, wherever she was, she thought it was fun to get on the horse and ride, you know.
Let's see, I'm gonna compare this one. Okay.
What is our shirt?
Now, I think this is my dad when he was young. He always, didn't we think that? We wasn't sure, but he,
So here's your first cousin. Daughter
Yeah.
of Clara Heaton of
Mhm.
Bruce.
I don't know who's that. He really wrote.
Now they're got a stone boat here. They're hauling, maybe they're hauling, there was that sacks of wheat. That sack's on there, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Here's the same horse, same writing. Lassoing the man, taken at the ranch.
Yeah, no.
Or maybe they were on vacation or were taking
Well,
a
that
trip
could have
to
been.
Mother. Maybe that's,
I don't know. We kind of, see, we thought that looked like, and maybe this was her husband, that
Oh.
Milo,
mm-hmm.
because the picture looks the same, you
Now
know.
here's your,
Yeah,
one
that's-
we've had before.
Yeah.
Just a huge house, and you say you
Mhm.
lived in that.
Mm.
Oh! They'd have room to store a lot of stuff, wouldn't they? Just huge. Just a huge.
Yeah, you know, you had a stairway car up in the attic.
I
Oh,
suppose.
well, they had to cut wood
Yeah.
all the time, didn't they?
Here.
Sherburne, Minnesota is where Amanda Helen Monk.
Now this is the one. This is the one that that Gladys talks about. Gladys Rosenquist. Amanda Helen Monk. And they lived up in Minnesota. I don't recall the story real well, but did she have one or two husbands? And
I don't know.
yeah. North Dakota. Taken at Welcome, Minnesota, June 1911. But these would be like nieces of Grandma Gaminder. She was a monk.
Yeah.
And so this was her brother came out here too. Grandma Gaminder's brother came out.
Well, now, did the Grandma Gaminder, what did they do for a livelihood? What was he? Was he a farmer? Or?
He was a farmer. It tells in that story about what they did. They came out in 1870, and the Grandma Gaminder's brother was a monk, and he drove I think it says mules, and the men went on ahead, and then the women came later on a train. I don't know why the rest of them. I suppose they had to have their horses or mules out there, and then they bought this farm for $7 an acre, and
that would have been where south of Jolly, where Albert lived. Then?
No. According to the story, it was further south of Jolly. It wasn't in Jolly, and then they prospered. And he gave land for the school district, and this is a real rough part of the story. And then he decided, Jacob, our great-grandpa, decided, I want to spend my declining years in Switzerland. So they went back to Switzerland, didn't they?
I don't know.
And they left, and your grandmother was married already.
And then her folks went back to Switzerland.
Yeah, and all the rest of the children went back to Switzerland. My grandmother was not married. They all went back to Switzerland for about a year or so, and they stayed there. And Grandma Mary Gaminder did not like it there, and so they moved back. And then they bought farms again. They bought these farms. That's when they lived. Had that house there in Jolly.
Oh.
And this is why Minnie wanted to travel back to Switzerland. And so in some of Gladys's pictures, and she's got lots of letters she tells about going back to the place where they stayed when they were back there in 1890. So it was very interesting. But like in the story, it says that everyone went back except Emma, who was already married.
She was married.
And she didn't go back.
You realize that it took them 3 weeks on a ship to get over there? 2 months.
Probably. Well, those were steamships already. I think it tells how long it took them. She's in her story there. When you want to have time to read that. Now let me see. I looked at these? Oh yeah. This is the one that. If you ever have a chance to visit Gladys, why then she could tell you a story about that. This would be really an interesting picture if a person would know who that was.
That's probably a thresher's crew. They all look,
Yeah.
But
Could something they got together? Yeah. They're dressed in overalls. And, yeah. Probably.
After a day of working.
Now I can't remember. Is this the one I've seen here before? Is it one of mine? I don't think I have one like that. I wouldn't know who that is.
well, this here kind of looks like that there. No, it don't either. This is,
No.
I would think.
And they're fun or?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Till he finally grew up enough that he could handle her. Then it was over.
That was
But
Clara.
she used to tease him because
Who
he
was
had,
that? Clara?
Gerald had pretty red colored hair when he was younger, and she used to always kid him about it. That's another big family picture, but you know, you just,
So who was Clara then? Your aunt?
that was Emma's daughter.
She come up here
Look at that
once to
one
visit
again.
us,
Those
didn't
babies
she?
with
No, you
eyes.
never do it.
No, I guess I was thinking about somebody else.
These two are the same.
See, they were returned from people.
Now, Sophie's kids, there's
Your Aunt Sophie.
there's what, 3 or 4 girls in Milwaukee that I exchanged Christmas cards with. They come down one time, and I hadn't seen them for years. They well, when they were first married, or maybe before they were married, they used to come to see Grandma once in a while. But
These are from Switzerland, or yeah.
Oh, these are all from Switzerland.
About funerals.
Oh,
so Grandma must have kind of wrote back.
no, you're talking.
My grandmother,
Emma?
must have kept in touch that she would have got these cards and stuff.
With my grandmother. Oh, sure.
Yeah, and with the family back in Switzerland, don't you
And
think?
don't you think they would send
I don't know who really did the writing.
Maybe they sent a whole bunch of these just to pass out to relatives
Well, that
too.
could have been.
They
you
could have
know.
sent them to one person, just a pack of them. This is what they call those tin types, isn't it?
Yeah, and then,
I noticed there was another one that was torn out. Do you think that's what they call those
So,
types of tin
you know, we
types?
know that that's Gaminder. That's the way they got it on the tombstones over there.
yeah. She was a school teacher. Frances
Oh.
Teach, you know, or Snow. Now, Grandma always thought a lot of her too, that Frances Snow.
I have some addresses to write to over there that Gladys wanted me to write to, but I haven't done it yet. Whether they can understand Twin Lakes.
Oh, there isn't much for, as far as not being able to understand. My youngest daughter married a history teacher in town here. And this summer they went like backpacking over in Europe. He
Oh,
went to Austria. He'd went to school in Austria one year, and then they went down into Switzerland, and they visited his family's. They live in northwest Germany, and went up into Sweden. And you know, language has no barriers anymore. There's always somebody that can talk.
so here is the teacher. There's the teacher.
Yeah.
And she was teaching. She taught your father. All long gone now. Just
Was she good looking?
Oh
Nice.
yeah, in her day she was good looking.
Real. Very nice.
She looks like she stayed up all night on that picture though.
It looks like she had a hard time the
Kind of
night
heavy
before.
eyelids, didn't she?
Delores. You mean she had a hard time the night before?
Yeah, these are old.
Yeah.
Now, that white hour, how is that related now again to us?
You got me.
So they're,
Oh.
I'm comparing again here because
Oh.
eyes
we're-
and things, but I don't know if I can see enough resemblance. The baby's eyebrows are so close together here. And it seemed like your mother's pictures of when she was little, her eyebrows are close together, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at some of when she
Oh,
was
well,
little.
isn't there a white hour up in Lorenz that's supposed to be related somehow to us?
Who?
A white
The
hour.
nose and the mouth, you know,
Yeah.
and the eye. Your
My
mother
goodness.
You wrote that.
I didn't write
Your
that.
mother wrote that.
That's my mother's writing.
What's Muggs?
That was her nickname.
Your mother's nickname?
Yeah, Muggs.
Well, that's...
For Marguerite. Merry Christmas.
want to keep that with these Delma pictures? These are
You have
all,
to see my mother.
Jerry, you can put these together, they're all identified. Those are the Delma ones that you looked at already.
Okay.
Do you have that picture?
I don't think so.
Do you want it?
This would be as close as I have to a family picture.
No, you can have it if you want it.
Can I?
You know what you
Okay.
could do is we could go through that old trunk in the granary and see if there's a baby dress that matches that lace.
Yeah.
One of those maybe is for your mother's baptism
I don't know
dress.
if my mother's stuff got put in there. My father's.
But where did hers go? She would have kept it.
Well, we've got, when we cleaned out the house, we cleaned out.
Yeah.
So, do you have somebody that you depend
No, I
on?
go to Carol to buy my feeder pigs in the auction.
Oh,
See, I bought 180 pigs, on the first part of December. And then I got them pigs, and by God, I had salmonella here.
What did you guys eat?
I had a stronger deal of salmonella than I had before. And so what I was feeding didn't do me any good. So I lost about 25 weeks.
Can't eat without you.
How big?
Well,
50
this
pounds.
old couple, they come out and
That's where it goes.
they love to talk.
$45 a piece.
And
That's fine. Yeah.
That's what you get once in a while.
they had planned to go to Arizona. And then his doctor, he's got cancer of the bone. And his doctor advised him not to drive.
this gentleman that you were.
That's just leaving.
Oh, yeah.
And so he says the money that we otherwise would spent down in Arizona, and then it come to find out the people that were going to visit, their one son had moved back, and she says, I think we would have had the daybed to sleep on for a bed, which wouldn't worked out very well. So they're going back to Hawaii
See,
for 2 weeks.
He got operated on for prostate gland and it was cancerous.
Oh.
And he's got cancer of the bone with it
And,
now.
So
They've been kind of under the weather.
he's a guy, he got kind of a case of, he kind of, sense of humor, and he never walked with a cane before, but he come this time with a cane. But Merlin wasn't going to ask him what he was walking with a cane for, because he carried it, along. And so he's standing there, and he says to me, he says, you never asked me how come I got a cane. And I says, I know better than that. Well, he says, he says to me, he says, I lost my sense of balance when they castrated me. He says, that's why I got the cane now.
Yeah, they want to know how Ann was like a nurse, and I said she's going to get to observe in the operating room now, this part of her studying, and he says, I can remember when I got my operation. He says they come in with all them student nurses, and the first thing they did was rip my clothes down. He said, there I laid. He said,
Well, I did like my uncle. I took him from the hospital, from Sioux City, and put him into the Sac City Hospital as a doctor's orders. And she told John and told my uncle the robe and that, and what he's supposed to wear. And so she come back in the room and she says, God, she says, you ain't done anything, you ain't changed any clothes yet. She opened the belt up on his pants and
well, God, you can't stay all
he
day.
went. He didn't make it to the jaybird.
She never got nothing of it.
You want some of this good stuff on your ice cream?
Go ahead.
Oh, that's
Go
your
ahead, help yourself.
I love chocolate.
I don't eat cake and ice cream together, is the only thing.
Oh, don't you? You can separate.
Last year, his sister bought him a ticket to I don't know what for, to go to Hawaii.
Mhm.
And so he really done her up. He bought himself a tuxedo, and it's nothing but a pair of white pants and this white shirt, you know, and then they have a certain kind of a bead necklace that fits around. And they have their picture taken together, and they look so nice. And, oh, you got that thing turned on?
Use up the rest of the tape.
I just noticed that. Now, here I tell that dirty story.
Shame on
It
you.
wasn't either, it was cute.
No, really.
Cute.
Say, I'll tell you a story.
Okay.
You know
You
Santa
better
Claus?
turn that off.
You know Santa
He's
Claus?
the only one that's gonna listen to this.
You know Santa Claus got in trouble.
No.
You know why? He laid the wrong doll on the Christmas tree.
Ah. That would make anybody in trouble, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's a short one to remember. See, now we have it on tape and Jerry can remember it. He wants to tell it to his brother-in-law. He doesn't take notes, so he can't remember stories. I can't either.
I can't remember either.
Now, when you go square dancing, is that hard to understand them callers? Do you have to practice each dance?
No. You just learn that.
I suppose you got one of your
Oh, yeah. the
short
ruffles.
dresses on, and when
Well,
you
not real
spin
short.
you, why, we goes the moon.
Yeah, you gotta have pantaloons under it. so-
Oh, you got
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have roughly petticoats. That's part of the fun of it, just like polka dancing too.
Yeah.
You kind of dress up with that.
But I always thought with the square dancing that you really have to know each dance.
You have to take lessons
No,
for
no,
it.
you don't know each dance. We can do a dance we've never heard before.
But you take lessons to learn all the different set
What
calls.
is-
Yeah, there's different, all the calls they have are, there's like 65 maybe to learn.
I mean, like, you know what Allen and left is,
Yeah.
grand right and left, because you do that in some of your dances. I don't know if you do a do-si-do, and
No.
but like Allen
Right,
and left,
right.
grand right and left, and circle left,
And they-
circle right.
Sometimes they do the star. They might do a star,
Mhm.
star 4 hands round.
Gents to the center with the left-hand star and that sort of thing.
And it's just that there's more calls. You
And
have to-
it's just that they put different combinations into them.
And once you learn each little routine, then they can put them together any way they want, and you can just, and of course, they try to get you mixed up, that's part of the fun of it.
Oh.
It's a challenge.
Not always, but okay.
No, but that's what the first trip is always about. It's a challenge between the caller and the dancers to see how soon the caller can make the dancers break up, get mixed up.
To a degree, it does, yeah.
Well, it's just part of the fun of it, because it's boring. It would be,
Yeah.
anything gets boring if you don't
Yeah, I
stick
Well-
can see
fun in
that.
there somewhere.
Well, I just like last night, we went down there, we sat down, we had lunch, coffee. And everybody was, talking and visiting, telling stories. Got the guy, a couple that had, were the guest of, he says, hell, we have more fun here than we do at the dance. Then everybody says, well, where's the next one going to be at?
The next after dance party.
Well, it wasn't no dance, we just danced in his house, see?
Oh, yeah. The records then?
See, he used to have an orchestra and he's got enough video equipment there and orchestra equipment there.
Well, do you go to dances then? To polka dances?
Mm-hmm.
We go down polka dances. See, they'll have one down here in March down here in Arcadia. Then we'll have one in June and we'll have one in October again.
Everybody's supposed to go up to Gibbon, but we've never been there.
Yeah, that's the one they advertise a lot.
Yeah.
Polka weekend or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it runs 4 days.
Oh, 4 days. Well, we have festivals like that for square dancing too.
It costs you roughly about $100 a day for up there.
Really?
Down in Delores.
Are you talking about what, to stay and
Well, that would
stay
be
and
with your
everything?
lodging
See, everything,
and that.
all the rooms and that get jacked up in price.
Yeah,
There's a square dance club over in Alta,
Mm-hmm.
but,
We looked at that before we came, I've forgotten what, see, we have a national directory.
oh yeah.
We know where every
So,
club, who they dance, when they dance.
would that have been the one last Wednesday night then?
I think they're Saturday night club.
Oh. So we had a different one picked out for last Wednesday. And then,
How far were you from Humboldt?
We danced right in Humboldt.
Yeah, but I mean, how far do you live from Humboldt?
You know, we gotta drive home,
Yeah.
oh, I'm maybe 140 miles, something like that. So we got like 200 miles to drive home now.
See, we're 60 miles from Humboldt.
Yeah.
yeah, so a little over, that's where we stayed last night. So it was about a little over an hour's drive. We were looking for a place to eat last night. And, really, we couldn't find very many cafes or anything. We didn't really want to go to that, what was it, a Hardee's or something?
Well, Genevieve doesn't like to drink coffee out of paper cups.
Yeah, well, we were looking at that cafe
It
down
isn't always the best.
looking at down on the main street, here's this cafe, it's closed. Then they got this Oriental cafe, and gee, Jerry doesn't like Chinese food, what are we gonna do? I said, well, we'll go in there anyway and see, we can at least have, we were just gonna have coffee and something anyway, and he said, well, even if they have tea, that's okay. But it was as American as anything, I suppose you've eaten in there, haven't you?
Well, Humboldt is 60 miles.
Everybody goes in there for coffee, it looks like, it's
Oh.
a big coffee place,
Yeah.
it's just like, but it's run by Orientals, I think, it looks like a family from
Chinese food.
Thailand or something.
Huh?
I think the people that run it are Orientals.
Mhm.
And they suppose they maybe serve Chinese food, but we just got a breakfast this morning, and I didn't look at the menu, what else they have.
We've ate Chinese food once, and that was with his cousin last winter when we went to
Mhm,
Arizona. They spend the winter at Mesa,
mhm.
and they took us to, and it was a smorgasbord type of thing, which was kind of nice because
See,
him and I had no idea what
It was
Chinese
nice.
food was like.
It was nice because they went through it first, and then what they'd take, we could take.
Uh-huh.
We
What
figured if they
didn't
liked it, maybe we
would
would,
like
see?
it, see, and that's the way we went.
And we enjoyed
Well,
it.
here they had a salad bar, and like I said, I didn't even look at the menu, but I suppose they maybe do make some Chinese dishes. But I think it's the only cafe in Humboldt, so I think it caters
But it was,
American food.
it was reasonable now,
They were reasonable in price for breakfast, and
you bet.
I was trying to
$3 for our breakfast for the two of us.
Oh my.
Coffee.
Well,
How many first cousins do you have, Delores? I mean, on your
I-
father's side?
Oh Lord, I don't know.
Not that many.
Well, I don't know them. See, I don't know any of Clara's kids. I don't remember how many she even had. And, what is there? Is there the 4 girls up in Milwaukee of Sophie's? Their one brother, is he still
Yeah,
alive? Or did he die here?
I don't know. See, they come down all for Jolly Centennial. Up there.
From Milwaukee?
Mhm.
So you really don't have that many first cousins, you know, you had 2 aunts. Those are where they would come from.
Mm-hmm.
And how many?
Do
On my
you-
mother's
do-
side, there's
do you,
a lot of relatives.
Do you,
She come
you're
from
them
Wesley,
from
Iowa, my
Milwaukee?
mother.
No, I never knew they were in Milwaukee.
I
I've
give
got
you
the
their
address, I've got
addresses
the
and
address now.
telephone number of,
Oh, yeah. Vera and them?
yeah. I told him Vera, she is,
The one that
would
would do
know,
it right.
yeah, she'll always write, and I'm sure she would know more about her mother's family than the rest.
Oh, we had a good time when you were here. Darn it. We have to, if we get an army reunion close by there, 3rd Armored has a reunion up there, we just have a good, we always go to a reunion for the Army at driving distance of a car. If I go, we're gonna, this year it's in Arizona. I'm not going to that. But the year after next, it's gonna be in Cincinnati.
No, we
And
can't
so-
miss that. We got a
So we're
son
gonna go
there.
there. That'll be my third time for a reunion in Cincinnati.
Oh, you were in the 3rd Armored Division?
Mhm.
Oh, really?
I was in armored infantry. I was a machine gunner over there.
Oh,
And you have a reunion every year.
Since
Yeah,
1947.
it runs
That's something.
close to 1,000, 1,500 people every year that come.
Men, and then the wives besides.
That's a big.
We take
Wow.
we got one hotel and then some.
did you leave with the Guard, or did you draft it, or how did you?
No, I was a replacement. during
No,
the
no, I
Battle
mean,
of
to leave civilian life.
Huh?
When you left,
Drafted.
you left civilian as a draftee.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. What year was that?
In 43.
43. Were you farming at that time?
Just helping my
You
dad
were working with your father.
pitching manure. Just
43. So you were like, you must have been, you were over 20 then, weren't you?
no. I was born in 23.
Oh, so you were 20.
Just about. Yeah.
19 or 20. So then you were deferred then, before that?
Yeah, I was deferred from January until May. That's all.
Oh. Were they taking 18-year-olds then, or just 19-year-olds?
19-year-olds.
Oh, they weren't taking 18-year-olds.
There's one guy in the neighborhood there, he just couldn't stand to see anybody, young kids around, so he was on the draft board and he made sure he got all the neighbor kids out of there.
Oh, well, you never knew anything about the Tidings Amendment. The Tidings Amendment was a law passed by the government. Just half, Delores, please, that would be fine. Oh, thank you. That by law, they couldn't draft you if you had so many points. Like, I think it was 15 points. If you were on a farm and you had 15 points, they couldn't draft you.
Yeah, but he had a younger brother that could.
Well, then he wasn't supposed to count, I don't think.
And then,
But
my dad, we had only farmed 160 acres there. We fed cattle and we had hogs and all.
yeah, see,
And then
it'd take 5 sows to make a point. So you had to have 15 points. They'd add, if you got 40 acres of corn, I don't know, maybe that was like a half a point. See?
Was that nationwide?
Nationwide, Tidings Amendment, I remember it, see? And if you could figure up on,
See,
have
we
enough
had-
points, you were deferred.
We had 40 head of cattle and we always
farmers
had 40 head of brood cows, and sometimes 50. And we have
But,
300
yeah, probably at that time, it was the judgment of the draft board whether you should go or not.
That's what he said. He was saying the draft board had.
That was the judgment. But then, there was like when I was in high school, they hadn't made the Tidings Amendment. But then there was one stipulation. All the kids that turned 18, there was no deferment. They didn't apply. So all of us kids that turned 18, we were drafted right away. So you went in 43. Took your training where?
at Camp Wallace, Texas. I was there from May until September.
May, June, and July, August. You had a long training period then, didn't you?
Yeah, I had 16 weeks basic training. Then I got shipped up to the cranberry bogs in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and I stayed there until Christmas, till a couple days before Christmas.
Shortly before 44.
And then they put me on a troop train, and I went down to Orlando, Florida. So I spent the winter down there.
Winter of 44, you spent. Now, what were you trained as down there in Texas?
Coast Guard artillery.
Coast Guard artillery.
I was searchlight operator.
That was what you were trained for.
And I got an advance in rank down there for having the cleanest searchlight in the unit.
Is that right? You were a PFC and they made you a corporal or a technician
Yeah,
5th grade?
I was PFC then.
Oh. Then they made you corporal?
No,
No, you were a PVT.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
See, I was only in about 6 months here.
Oh, okay, so then they made you PFC. You got a stripe.
Yeah. And I made battlefield sergeant overseas.
A buck sergeant or a
Yeah.
buck sergeant?
But I was, before it ever come through the ranks, why I was in the hospital and then they never caught up with me.
Oh, so you're discharged as a PFC?
Mm-hmm. But they wanted me to stay in the Army though. They give me they offered me a buck sergeant, right, come back in again.
They told you that while you were getting discharged?
You know, out there in Nebraska.
Oh,
I made buck, well, see, when your commanding officer hands you goddamn machine guns, he says, park your rifle in the corner, and he hands you a 30 caliber machine gun, and it's all sticky with cosmoline, and the devil ain't clean, and you're supposed to be ready to go tomorrow morning at daybreak or immediately with it. So you know you got to clean that sucker up all that night. You got to work on it. And he says, "Good luck, soldier," because he said the life of a machine gunner is only 3 minutes. And I said, "Thank you, sir," which I knew before that.
where was your captain from?
Huh?
Where was he from?
Oh God, I don't know. He overseas. He was so dark then that night, and it was in a German house where he was at. A Belgian house is where he was at. When my orders got caught up with me, and I was a sharpshooter with machine gun and a rifle, you know. And hell, the lieutenant always carried a M1 rifle in the tank with, and he made sure he never got nothing happen to it. That was his order, to leave that rifle just, not get it dirty. Because when he pick off a sharpshooter, we'd come with that M1, and he'd tell me to go get him. And it worked.
The M1.
Oh boy, that was perfect. That sucker just one shot would be all you need. I carried a 30 caliber light machine gun all the time. That's what I got. That same sucker, and he was in the tank when I got hit. He was with the tank when I got hit, but I cut the belt off to leave about 30 rounds hanging. And I just threw them over the top of the lid on the gun, you know. And the tripod guy and the machine gun, the guy that was the ammunition, he never was where he was supposed to be by you. He was way back there, or maybe he never even made it. Maybe he got clipped, see? Once you, as far as I was concerned, I learned by God from an officer one day over there. He said, "Soldier," he said, "when you fire that thing," he said, "you fire, get the hell over. Move it." He said, "just pick it up, roll around, and get the hell out of there. Because about the next time you bark it, then you're going to have a mortar right on your lap." And boy, lots of times it happened. Just as regular as it could be.
Yeah, they spotted you right away, wouldn't they?
Oh, you bet.
When that would start
Because
barking.
it's terrible, you know. When them things talk, the barrels will get just white hot from firing them. That's how hot she gets. You could fire more ammunition from one of them things in an hour than you could carry at one time.
Oh, I'll bet you could in an hour, yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's some days you think back, what good it is all these.
What was it all about?
It's like they're fighting now, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, we got rid of Hitler.
Yeah, well, we got the Germans on our side now.
Yeah, part of them.
Yeah, and then we had Italy against us then, and I don't know where they are. We got all the Japs. They whipped the Dickens up.
You remember that from World War II, about the longest tank drive in U.S. history of 101 miles? for the Ruhr pocket.
Oh, I probably remember reading about it.
That was I was in one of them
Is that right?
columns.
If I remember, they almost exceeded you know, that the tankers had to bring the gasoline right up in the tankers.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We took gas on the Paderborn and the Force that night.
you did what?
Took gas for the tanks and the Paderborn Force.
Oh,
We went that fast. And the guys that brought the gas up, a lot of them got killed on the way back. The Heine's coming in the back of us. A guy I went to school with down in Breda, he was one of the guys that brought gas to us as a Paderborn by the Force, by them, we call them Paderborn Force or the Black Force. And he brought gasoline to us. And he said, you know, he said, you devils go so fast, when next time you run out of gas, you're going to just stay put. He said, then we'll catch you. But that way the 3rd Armored was. That's why we got the 3rd Armored Division. Hell on Wheels has got the same insignia with a lightning streak through. There's only 2 divisions that had armored infantry ride with the tanks. And it was the most effective fighting unit in World War II. I seen Patton.
did ya?
He got all the glory.
He carried his Pearl Harbor
Yes.
revolvers. Huh?
I seen him too.
Now, like you had like Sherman tanks. Were those the kind of tanks they had in those days?
We had an M46 is what we had, with the 90 millimeter. We had Shermans when we come out to Battle of Bulge. We only had 5 of them tin cans, 5 of them. We come back at 60 men. And then we picked up a new tank and then we were 2 weeks in the rest area. And it had 90 millimeter on, and it had 2 Chrysler motors in, side by side.
Every year we went to like Fort Knox.
And we had a guy from Texas,
That's in
we
Tennessee.
call him Tex,
Kentucky.
and he was a tank
No, we didn't
driver.
make it to there. We went through
When we was getting that new tank ready to go,
And you see all these.
I says to Tex,
Yeah.
I says,
went
were
to
you
an
gonna get
old-
in that
we
motor
did go
block?
to an
Did you
old
find out where
museum, we were
where
out
that
there.
governor block was
Did you
at
think
for
where it
that
was?
sucker?
I think it was in Ohio.
Yeah, he says, I think I'm close to it.
There's a lot of.
So I crawled down in there and helped him
But
from
like we
inside
went
that,
with
we
the
took
Air
that,
Force Museum.
that block over.
Well, we went through
And we
one up
could go
in
with that
State.
summer.
Oh.
Them 2 Chrysler
That.
engines, when she poured a coal through it, the old flame would fly out the back end of that tank about that far.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just.
We
Oh,
went through that
man.
twice.
Good job.
We,
Now,
Nancy
those
and Jack
were
on out
actually
Cincinnati.
later
We went
smaller than the
just
Sherman?
So they could see it.
when it was bigger, it's
The first
60
time
some
we threw up
ton,
our daughter-in-law,
it's
Chuck's
60
wife.
some ton tank.
Joe
Oh.
was just.
And it was a flatter
well, she wouldn't
design
s-
tank.
Didn't want to stay in the stroller,
But it
and
had
she was
90 of
really too
them.
young to run. She
And,
was every place but where you wanted her.
It was a good tank. I was
So
like,
last summer when we
could
was
carry a
back
machine
there,
gun squad on real good.
Marcia says, how about going
Well,
with
like
the Dayton?
Delores
She
said,
said,
we wanted
it was
all
about 100 degrees.
Now we're back
the day
at
that
it
she
again,
went
aren't
with us. Yeah, it wasn't
They had a
long
50 up
ago.
on the tour all the
Kids got
time.
fussy, you know.
And we kept it always, the
Yeah,
box
it's a hot
full of
day,
ammunition
hot
and set on there and that 50.
Well, everything's inside. It
And,
was,
Yeah.
you know,
Boy, when the going get
Air
hot, we
conditioning
seen a lot of Heine's, why,
she didn't appreciate it too well.
chicks would always holler out through the
Much
hole,
bigger
tank
deal than
commander.
what we all thought.
Well, you take care of that thing up there, we got the other ones here.
Do you ever feed your birds out here?
I made me a makeshift thing because we seen 2 blackbirds. But that thing is so floppy. Well, we got a goldfinch feeder that we hang out earlier in the spring now. And we
What
really
was you in
enjoy
for a
watching
unit?
them. They'll
When-
come and,
Everyone that was
You don't have
drafted, when I was
goldfinches till
drafted,
later,
took
though.
infantry
No.
Till
basic.
they come.
yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
put in there for gold?
You had no choice.
It's a
We
thistle
took
seed.
infantry basic, we went overseas,
It's just a long
went
tube
to
that
Japan.
hangs on. I hang it on that pole out
Oh.
there.
So they come up
Oh,
cool.
We were,
that's
our
so
troop
pretty to
ship,
watch.
we had
We have some, we have goldfinches.
guys that had taken
There
tank
we
training.
break tuna, because when you
Oh,
have
boy.
shrubs, then you're gonna
In Kentucky
attract them, I
somewhere.
think.
Yeah.
Where was
So they're kind of moving into our
Fort
windbreak
Knox,
too.
Kentucky.
Fort Knox, yeah.
Yeah, that's
They came out of basic, so when we got into the replacement center, those guys went into the infantry, and us guys that took infantry basic, we went into the armored force.
So
Yeah.
it's solid.
Oh, you did?
So I went into the
I wonder if it would-
767th Tank
I thought that you
Battalion.
made it out of a
The only
wheel.
unit that was
Yeah, that's
in
one of my
Japan with
string
tanks.
tails, that thing is,
Yeah.
but
This was
I wonder
in,
if you could tie it inside.
this was in
inside of the
November
branches,
of
how that would
45.
work, or,
Well, how
I
come
never
that
thought
they
of
done that?
you know, from
That was the
different
Army.
branches, because it.
so we all went into the armored force, us infantry guys,
I think so.
and then they had to retrain us there in
Of course, you could have
no,
it
this
more
was
than
peace,
one
the
place,
war was
too,
over,
you know,
it was over
so-
2 months already.
But that gave
So,
me the idea.
that's
of
how they
we're
trained us
trying
to be- they-
put some out in our windbreak.
What are the guys taught, you know,
I
they
cut the
needed
next time,
drivers
I
and
cut it
gunners
off. I
and,
leave one
and you
side
know,
of the
everyone was
solid,
supposed to be
so
qualified
yeah.
apparently to drive a tank.
Shelter.
I mean, you must have had a
How
license
about
to
it?
drive a
Yeah, or
tank, did
you
you?
could-
No,
You
Would you
didn't,
like
you
to go
didn't,
through
you
it
didn't.
or not?
Well, everyone that came in, all of us replacements, we were trained to drive half tracks and tanks and
That's just got
all the trucks and,
the tube, and then there's the.
No, But
it was only-
Through it, so they
uh,
never-
it was only a matter of a few
Just like
months.
that does, and they'll sit
Oh,
up
golly,
there
yeah,
behind
like
me,
They're
just-
like
January or
they're used
February
to
of
hanging on a
46,
branch.
and it was,
But
what do they say,
maybe it just needs a little more ink or.
not
Yeah.
demobilized, but we were disbanded, our unit, they
Like if you-
sent them all
I
back
just
to
put it out
ordnance.
there a couple weeks ago, but.
So I got to drive a tank,
Got all blown out because of
nothing
the
more than just
snow,
drive it.
Yeah.
storm, it
I
just-
was an assigned
I
half-track
know.
driver.
well,
Yeah, you need
then
to
you
be
must have had
anchored
some
better somehow.
46s over there.
Well, our unit, the 767 Tank Battalion, had the big tanks with the Sherman tanks, and
So
then
if there was a way
then
you
there
could
were
put
these
the
lower
handles
profiled
on
ones.
the swings
They had those
and
Chrysler
everything.
motors in them, they really sounded slick. And they could really go.
Yeah, that's what we had.
But I don't remember what name they called them, I can't
We had
remember.
an M46 and they had the muzzle brake
Something
like a
that-
Heine gun in the front.
Probably, yeah,
That's what
We
we
put a
had.
bird
one.
bath
Yeah.
out there too
Uh,
last summer.
Oh, did you?
but
Got a, just one of
I just don't
plastic
remember
ones, you know.
what the names or numbers of them were.
They don't use that?
Because we were only in there just for,
Maybe it was 2 or something. you know.
oh,
Well,
3,
if we
4
have
months, and
places to
then
go,
then
they
they
probably
broke
are.
us up, then we went to the infantry.
Being that runs, that
35th
water runs
Infantry
down around here for so
Division.
long, they probably
See,
did.
And
so-
Yeah.
That's probably.
When I went in
Mhm.
over there, there was, I mean, they were just sending the troops home in droves, the veterans. You know, you were on a point system, weren't you?
Mhm.
You know, that's, I'm sure that's how you got discharged, with a point system.
Well, see, I
Or were
had,
you
Well,
were
our trees
wounded,
aren't
were you
quite that
wounded?
big, but they're
Yeah.
getting
So
up
that-
now where they're taller
maybe
than
that's-
I am
The
now.
fertilizer
I was
stinks,
eligible for
$5
get
an hour.
discharged in
That really
October already. I had enough
Yeah.
points.
When we put these
And I
out
said-
here, they were
and
just so
You
seething.
see, I just got out of the,
And the first year
out
the
of the
rabbits
hospital
chewed them so
in
bad, but
August,
I think it done them good because they just got so
in
thick.
July, there, a lot of part of
It does.
July,
Pruning helps.
I was 6 months in the hospital. And
So how
I,
many, have you had them there quite a few years?
Oh,
the
20
doctor
years
said,
ago.
I said
They
to the
look like
doctor, I
about
said,
that old.
Yeah.
I've got
Ours
enough
we
points to
planted
get out of the army.
Be 10 years now. So
But I
they're-
said to
You
him,
know,
I
they're
said,
finally
that
getting up where
I
we have.
feel
had
that I
some of
should
them.
stay
Some
in.
are not, because
Yeah.
we
I
had
feel
to
I should stay
replace them
another
with a
6
few short
months
ones in there.
or
Well,
longer,
We have
Yes.
we have 4 rows
so
of
that I
everything,
get,
so we've
my
got,
legs get back.
when it gets
Yeah.
going, it's gonna be
Oh,
really
yeah.
a nice thick,
You did it well.
And he said, you really think you should? And I said, yeah.
and it sure has made a difference in birds since we got,
So he's
you know, our house
wrote
was
down
right
on
in
my
a
paper
field.
that,
Now there's trees
that,
around it and there's birds
that I
coming.
want to stay in, that I want to stay
Oh, I
in.
didn't have much.
No,
So
well,
I
there wouldn't
did.
have been, yeah, there wouldn't have been
And
birds
then
out in that.
January
open field.
46 one,
So every year there's a few more that
I
we
was
see
getting along
now.
pretty good, and he says, I'll put in a request that
Once
you
in a
go
while, I'll
down
see
to,
blue jays.
to the Veterans
Yeah.
Hospital,
We don't have too many of those because
and 2 or 3 trips down there
I
to
think
see
they
how he's
like
getting
corn
along.
cribs.
And if
No,
you-
Yeah.
we
they
don't
think
have
you
a
need
corn
some
crib
more
right
help,
there.
you, and then they'll put you in the
But we've seen
hospital.
them around.
So that's where we left him. I wish
They're
I'd,
kind of a pesky,
really, I
kind
wish
of a
I'd
teasy
stayed in,
bird too.
Just think of the pension
Especially
you
in
have
the
now.
spring, you know,
Well,
they're
yeah, that's
really
it.
are
Sure,
naughty
my
birds.
captain was living in South
Teasy
Carolina,
birds.
just 90
I'd like
miles
to-
from
I'd like to
Myrtle
put some,
Beach there, 70
bluebird
miles for my
houses.
daughter down there.
We have a
Jack
daughter
Cook.
that's joined the Isaac Walton
And,
Police.
he's a captain in it.
I'll have to ask them if they wanna
He don't do
puts them
anything.
out our way.
He worked a little while
Sometimes they
after he
do
got
that.
out
They come
from
out
the
and put
Pentagon.
And put them out.
Hoover
I bet he's
elms,
getting
so,
a ride
yeah.
up
And it takes a couple
2,000,
years or
2,200
Oh, that's a
before they
bird,
find them.
I don't know if we have them around.
beautiful home. You know.
We don't around our place, and
Yeah.
they say it's because they've lost their
Yeah.
I never
sites
seen him
and-
over in the front
And then
yard.
they say the chemicals have had a lot to
They
do
were all
with
in the
it,
house.
them going down. Oh,
Just that guy that you seen the picture of
it'd
him
be
and his
hard to
wife
see
and
any
Delores
again.
out
We've never
here.
had that many
took that?
anyway, ever.
That's the only guy
I
that I
don't even that
remember
much
being
of a
up in the
bird
front
watcher,
line with.
but,
You mean an officer?
No, he was
I can't remember seeing
PFC.
them.
Oh,
They like to be, well, like they'll
He was
like
just a
post
rifleman.
along the field or.
That's all he was. He
They're
didn't
more of a.
just carry the
field bird
rifles.
anyway.
All he
I don't
done.
think they'll come around the house.
And a lot of
So
people
much.
put these Martin
He said, I
houses
stay
up
away
there,
from the
those-
tank as far as
We
I
don't
could.
have, no, we don't have one.
But there again, if the Martins, you gotta watch the darn squirrels if they don't.
They would take it over
Yeah.
one thing. That's the one thing I worry about is about putting up houses. So I haven't done that. Did it stop?
no.
Think it will.
Well, Genevieve, I said target was 4 o'clock,
Is it 4 o'clock?
20 minutes to 5.
Well, after 4 o'clock.
And you got chores to do.
Yeah, but that ain't too bad. I can get my chores done before you get home.
Well, I would hope so.
Monday morning,
Heck, you
Monday
know,
or Tuesday morning.
you
we had
probably
the
got,
lines froze.
you probably got cruise
That-
control
that
in the
Monday
car
When
and,
windshield gets
Well, most
bad,
people have that,
you know,
I
water
guess.
yeah,
lines
you
are all up
don't
above.
have to.
Oh.
It wouldn't be,
And when that
It's too
windshield
hard to
got
drive
50
without
below,
cruise
we
control,
had
eh?
hard water. Hog barn.
Well, I didn't like it at first, but now I'm getting
heat tape
used
on
to it,
the-
I like
comes
it.
up the west wall.
Yeah.
And we
I
got
had it
heat
in the
tape
other
up to
car.
there. But it was built with the idea of having
you know,
heaters.
the only thing you have to do is steer. I
And
drove my
he's got
car,
this
the last time we went down
February or
to
something like that
Rita,
it's called.
from Indianapolis to Florence,
And it takes a
South Carolina, about
educated
800
man to
miles in
run
one
the
day.
thing.
Is that right? You like to make big
After the
jaunts?
first 2 years we had that up,
She reads the
every
map
time they
and she
come
got
down
to
from
keep
Cherokee
entertainment.
to
Oh.
get it to going, it was $20 just
And she don't go
for
to sleep.
driving.
Is that right?
And he says pigs are gonna keep themselves warm, so. But we try to keep enough up there that the barn gets warm, but when we get a wind chill like we had Sunday
Yeah.
night, then we're lost again. So then we go up there with our propane torches and kind of melt the water lines.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, as long as you go ahead and have a few pigs, you always keep the bills paid, and that makes you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mama can go to the dance too once in a while.
Ah,
Sure.
we missed a lot of
I
dances
get enough
this fall.
compensation
First
from
there
the
was
government
so
for
much
my entertainment,
fog.
for our entertainment to
Oh,
go to the
yeah, that's
dances.
full. It's, you're up there now, huh? What you?
Yeah, I
your
get
little
about
check.
$70 a month now.
That's for disability. from
Yeah, sure,
service.
you get social security
Yeah.
too, I
Yeah.
suppose.
But
So that's just a little spending money, huh?
sure,
But did you always get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, since
$70?
I
You've
can-
always got that?
No, it started out, well, what, $10 a month?
$9
Oh,
and
really?
50
Nine
cents.
something.
10% disability.
And that's how much they've
Cost of living just went up.
went up.
So I was just
7
thinking
times.
now, you never saw your grandma's, I'm getting back on the family now, you never saw my grandma Agnes,
None of her sisters,
you never saw her, well, except Minnie,
Minnie, right.
but you saw
Okay.
Albert
Albert, well, they all live close.
and William, you saw.
Minnie and Bill and Albert,
You saw 3 of them, so you just saw two of them you didn't see,
yeah.
2 of them you didn't see.
Yeah.
It was Agnes.
But she would talk about them, but I was so small and that, and it never rung a bell. They were her sisters, I guess.
Yeah.
I never,
Well, that isn't too
Yeah.
bad though, from grandparents to have seen at
Sure.
least 3.
so I maybe seen more than you did then, didn't I?
I never saw anyone.
You never saw anyone.
No, I don't, I've never seen any of my grandparents relatives.
Except,
either, you know, sisters
except,
or brothers.
except for Gladys Rosenquist, you are the first Gaminder I've ever seen and talked to. That's what I told you on the phone.
Yeah.
That was the first time. And Because
you to the cemetery at
Yeah,
Arapa City?
he's got
in
pictures.
'84 we were there.
No, Pomeroy.
And
Pomeroy, yeah.
at Rockville City too?
No. There's no Geminders buried at
Oh, yeah, oh, your dad and them is there buried there at Rockville
Yeah.
City.
Emma is where?
but she's buried at Rockville City.
Oh, and your folks are too? I see.
In the north of that drive there on the east side of that road.
Yeah, that is something we should go to. Like, I got that picture Mayrette took of the tombstone in Pomeroy. But that would be something to take a picture, like a picture of the tombstone of the Heidners,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. That really records it there. If you
Uh-huh.
take and you read the date and everything on it.
Yeah.
Think that my camera will take that picture of still of them stones standing still?
I think the stones will stay. You don't have an earthquake. Yeah.
She was getting on to me with that camera today.
Is your camera from Sears? Keystone. Here I see that Keystone.
We bought out Cernette, the department store out here. I don't know who makes it.
It's Kodak. I think that's what it is. Or there's a Keystone camera.
It just says Keystone. I was thinking that Sears handled it, but, you know, I looked
Oh, they
at
could.
in the new Sears catalog, they cut down a couple of kinds that they had in the fall catalog, and I'm curious why. One of them was an underwater camera, or not an underwater camera, but one that
Keystone. It's a
wouldn't hurt it to
Keystone
get
camera.
wet. They don't have it in the summer one now. They're down to only about 3 kinds.
Well, we don't get any catalogs.
Oh, don't you?
Got nothing to
If
send
you don't
for.
order it, yeah, you wouldn't get them
He
then.
says I got such a funny shape that you have to go try it on me then.
So, yeah.
And I
But
get so
think- I think I
disgusted,
did
you
see
know,
it
you think
in
you're
the-
gonna order for something, and when it comes, it isn't anything like you think.
Uh-huh,
And,
yeah.
Can you see my mother in Delores, Genevieve? I sure can.
Mm-hmm.
They used to say, they used to tell me, or they still tell me, you look just like your mother. Do you think that we look alike? Do you think?
Used to?
Uh-huh.
Well, you can tell you're related.
You think we do, huh?
Mhm.
She looks like Gladys too, I think. You know, there's
Well,
maybe the coloring and
maybe.
eyes.
Yeah. Well, she reminds me of my mother. She reminds me of my mother. Because in addition, my mother was very, very short. I think she was a little shorter than you are. Do you think so,
I
Jen?
used to be 5'3", I don't know if I still am that tall or not.
I thought she was taller than that, but when I found out she wasn't high heels.
High heels and long skirts,
Yeah.
you really didn't know what you were getting
Yeah, we
into.
didn't know if she was knocked me or what.
Well, it's sure been interesting.
Yeah, you
Just think, all that time you had wedding picture of my father and mother and
Didn't know
Uncle Aunt, and my Uncle John and Aunt Albina.
wonder how many more of those are out
Yeah, I
somewhere.
wonder, you know.
Have you got some pictures of them?
Oh, sure, sure.
Well, then you got caught up on some of them pictures too.
Well, I felt if we found one picture that we could identify either side, that
Oh,
it
we did
was
that.
really a big accomplishment, and we found more than that.
Yeah.
We found my mother, you know, that little one, that it looked like my mother in the baby picture, and I wasn't sure. I had that.
You mean with the baby,
Yeah.
with the lace,
He had that
lacy
very-
baby
Yeah,
dress?
yeah.
He's got that picture.
Well, that's why I thought it looked so familiar, like I'd seen it
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
And I thought of, her eyebrows are so close together here as a baby,
Uh-huh.
but she didn't, I don't think she stayed that way as she got older.